Hello, everybody. My name is James D. Lee. I'm a Warner Brothers Discovery investor, as everybody knows, but I'm also a horror and dark fantasy author. So, and I grew up watching Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I love DC Comics. As a Warner Brothers Discovery investor, Warner Brothers owns DC Comics. So, I'm going to have some fun today. This is a fun video. Please do not think it's official video at any shape, way, or form. I do not work for Star Wars. I do not work for DC Comics. I'm just a shareholder for Warner Brothers. Okay, so let's just okay. Um, so what I was having is because we're seeing a whole lot of backlash and we're seeing a whole lot of hate and everything like that with Star Wars and with DC. James Gunn's Superman trailer, which I actually enjoyed the trailer. I'm looking forward to the movie as a DC, as a Warner Brothers investor. Why would I say not? No, I like James Gunn. He's a nice guy. One day I hope I can sit down with him and talk, which I would love to do if he's got free time. Also, I'm an artist. I do draw streams on the weekends on another channel. So if you want to check it out, I hyperlink it over on X and on this channel here. So let's get down to have some fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Star Wars first. So as you know, Star Wars is basically flatlining. Kathleen Kennedy has totally screwed it up. It's completely on life support right now. The Acolyte was a major disastrous failure, and it failed badly, and now they're trying to figure out how to fix it. Well, I'm going to give you a story that I made up that would show how to fix it. So if I'm handed, this is if Kathleen Kennedy handed me Star Wars and says, hey, fix this. So here's the rough thing. First off, what would I do? Okay, I would move the story 200 years in the future. 200 years. 200 years. That means Rey's gone. Everything's gone. First Order's gone. It's all gone. What's going on in the universe right now? In the universe, you have a central government that is now the New Republic. Okay, this is the New Republic. It's sustained. On the fringe world, that means the outer bands of the Republic, you have the Mandalorian territory, which is the Mandalorians have got a new Mandalore, and the Mandalore is ruling it as a kingdom. They still do everything just like the other Mandalorians did in the past. Honor, respect. They'll fight anybody outside, but you don't mess with their clans. It's all clan based. Now, the Jedi. Rey has been long gone. She did establish a new Jedi Order. She took it to the homeworld of the Jedi. And the Jedi have been in that homeworld. The problem is, and this is really important, only a few people know where that Jedi homeworld is. Okay? This is basically the same world that Luke was on when Rey went and found him. But the planet has changed a bit because there's now about 25 Jedi on this planet. They keep to themselves. They practice. They're not as self-destructive and as depressed as Luke was. They're very in tune with the Force. They understand the Force. They understand that if they need to go help people, they will go help people. They're not isolationists. But very few people know where that planet is, and only a few traders come to that planet. They're basically like Shaolin monks. They live in the mountains. They live to themselves, but if they have to come and they have to fight, they're going to do that. What's the story? The story now is about a gentleman. He's a pirate. He leads a pirate group. His name is known as Nagatapusa. I came up with this name. I like the name. He is a pirate's pirate. He is the Earl Flynn of like Captain Blood type pirate. He was wrongly accused of something. He was a good guy. He was wrongly accused. He was sentenced to slavery. He broke out of slavery, rebelled, took an old rundown Imperial Star Destroyer with a crew, rebuilt it, became a pirate on the fringe planets and everything like that. He's being hunted. He's being hunted by this New Republic. And his ship is in a complete disarray. It is falling apart. And he ends up crashing it on the planet Korriban. Now, if you know Korriban, Korriban is the homeworld of the ancient Sith, the actual Sith race. Okay? And if you want to know where I'm getting my information, I'm getting my information from this book. Okay? This is everything you need to know about the dark side. This came out long before Disney ever bought Star Wars. Okay? This has got everything you ever needed to know about the Sith. Okay? This is a great book. Great book. Great book. Now, the Star Destroyer crashes near the Valley of the ancient Sith Lords, burial chambers. It's basically like the Valley of the Kings. And Naga is the only one who survives. Everybody is dead here. Everybody is completely dead. All he finds is the ruins of the Sith. It's all ruins. There's nobody on this planet. It's a desert planet, the area that he's in. It's a strange world for him. He is force sensitive, and so he feels a pull toward a structure that's kind of like a pyramid structure, but it's actually the old college academy of the Sith, where they sent back before the rule of two. And so he makes his way there. As he goes in, the doors that he enters shuts, and then you hear screams, you hear multiple voices talking about the dark, what Sith were, who the Sith are, starts naming Naga's shadow, Darth Maul, all of them talk about the ancient emperor, the one before Palpatine, the 1,000-year reigning emperor. And so at that point, everything switches back to the Jedi homeworld. The Jedi Council, which is made of only three, there's only three Jedi headmasters. And so at this point, they feel a very strong disturbance in the Force. They can't pinpoint it, but they feel a great disturbance in the Force. And they know something's wrong. So they start getting everybody, all of them together, to start training hard to prepare just in case something really does happen. And so at this point, a group of Republic soldiers with fighter jets track where the Star Destroyer cracked, which is on Korriban. They land on Korriban. At this point, Nagatapusa has been there for about a year. So he's been there for about a year. And as the soldiers and lieutenant commander start moving into the Valley of the Sith Lords, they don't understand where they're walking into. The first thing they see is there's a thing called a Sith dragon, and they do reside on Korriban. They're very big, they're very large, and they are force sensitive creatures. So that means the force mutates them and everything. They end up fighting one of those. It chases them into the old pyramid, the pyramid where the Sith Academy was. When they come in, the first thing they notice is that the interior is pristine. It doesn't look like ruins. And they walk into there's like two entrances. There's a main entrances, and then it breaks, and you have to go to the left or right side. And then you go around it into a big hall, like a foyer. And there's a hologram there that welcomes them. And the hologram is an old lady who's in black robes, and their program is introducing them to the Sith Academy. They're introducing them to Sith Academy like that. And she asks what brings them there. And the commander of the group says, we're investigating and looking for a known criminal. His name is Nagatapusa. And so this hologram says, well, there's only one here, besides them, and that student is up on the fourth floor to the left side, all the way down the hallway, and then take a right, go all the way down the hallway, and you'll find the training area. So they go up the stairs to the fourth floor, and they do exactly what the hologram says. And they go down, and they come in, and they see a man standing there. His hair's long and black. He doesn't have a beard. He's clean shaven. His left eye has got a scar through it, and he wears an eye patch. He's in all black. His boots go up almost to his knees. He's got a black cape. He's got a black cape and the cape's got a red interior inside of it. As he turns, he sees the Republic. The Republic notices it as Naga Tapusa. And so they pull their blasters, and they're saying he's under arrest. And at that point, the red lightsaber comes on. And then you see the battle, and he really goes ballistic on them. He wipes them all out, except for the lieutenant. The lieutenant's scrambling to get out the door, and he goes out the door. And so as he starts walking, the ghost or the Sith spirit like Darth Maul. If you don't know who Darth Maul is an ancient Sith Lord who sat on the Sith Council. And then Darth Nox shows up. Their spirits show up. And they tell Naga to stop him. It's not ready for him to be known. So Naga Tapusa goes out and stops him. Pulls him back into the temple and basically tortures him to get information. You know, where did he come? Where was their unit from? Where are they at? What's going on? And he finds out that they came from another planet. You can make up a name whatever you want to. That was a Republic base. But the ship they used is there. So after he kills this lieutenant, he takes a necklace. The necklace holds a fraction of the spirits of Nox and Mar. Because Nox and Mar are going to train him. He doesn't know anything about Bane. He doesn't know anything about the Will of Two. It's just him and him alone. And he's become very powerful. Even though he's been in there for a full year and using a lot of all these spirits of the Force and everything that trained him, he's still not full Sith Lord. He's still not the great Sith Lord that he's supposed to be. So he goes, and instead of taking the Republic ship, he sends the Republic ship off to Tython. And he goes to an ancient space portal on Korriban and finds a Sith Marauder ship. And it's about the size of Millennium Falcon. When he gets on board, there's a protocol droid. Protocol droid controls the ship. He orders the ship to take off. They're going to go to this Republic city and planet that these soldiers came from. So as he's sitting there in the captain's chair, the two spirits are there guiding him on what he needs to do. Even though their bodies and everything are still in Korriban, because he's wearing this necklace amulet, he can still communicate because it's like a Omnicron. So he can learn from them. And he goes over, he's still learning from them. He's learning everything. He's learning about blood alchemy. He's learning about runic weapons. He's learning about ancient Sith Lord runic weapons, weapons that can parry lightsabers, that can defeat lightsabers, and that hold great power, great Sith artifacts. So he gets to this place where this Republic city is. And he knows this place. He knows where the shady sides are and everything like that. So he goes to the underside of this place, and it's a dive, it's a bar. As he goes in, girls are dancing, You know, the whole. I mean, it's a dive. It's a real big dive, and he knows the owner, so he's talking with the owner about all this. And the owner's like, "Hey, there's a big warrant out for your arrest. You know, they're really looking for you, and you got to get out of here." You know, he's trying to give him places of where he can go and everything. So as he comes out, a Republic soldiers are waiting on him because as the ship came in, he was recognized as he came off the ship, and a fight breaks out in the streets. Well, the only weapon he's got is the red lightsaber, and when he pulls his lightsaber in front of everybody and he kills the soldiers, it resonates all over the Republic that, hey, somebody's got a lightsaber. Is this a Jedi? What's going on? And so a representative from the Republic goes to the Jedi homeworld, shows them the holocron of the recording of the fight, and they see the red lightsaber come on, and they know it's somebody has that force they had a problem with. So they send one of the Jedi masters, not headmasters, but a Jedi master, to go deal with it, and two Jedis, not Padawans, but Jedis. So there's three of them. Go to investigate. So they go to the Republic world. They're investigating. They get the idea of the ship. So they're looking for the ship, and they find the ship in a location near Mandalore space. So when they get to this location, he's waiting for them because he's been hiding. So they come in. He's like this. They're coming out. Mar and Nox tell him, "This is your test. Defeat them to become the new Sith Lord. You know, the new Sith Lord." So fight goes on. His training is extremely well done. He is extremely good, fast, quick, and he takes all of them out. This isn't Padawan thing. This isn't act like. This guy is fully trained. He is now the Sith Lord, and he keeps the Nagata Tapusa name in honor, because he was named after Nagata Shadao, in honor of Nagata Shadao. So at this point, he goes back to Korriban. The Jedis find out that their three, the Master and the two Knights, are killed. Now they have to figure out what to do. They got to figure out where to find him. And this is where the first movie ends. So you have the protagonist, which is going to be following the Sith, not the Jedis. You have the Jedis who have been complacent. Now you have a new Sith Lord show up. And in this one, he's not for revenge. He's for domination. He's for total control. He's for power. And he's going to start doing that. This is completely different than the Acolyte, which the Acolyte was completely a mess. This is what happens when you find the ancient stuff of the Sith. What you find, where you find this stuff, where it comes from. You get to see the old Sith. You get to see the old Republic. You get flashbacks of when there were thousands of Sith, when Darth Maul was running around, when Malgus was running around. You know, that time frame. But that's what I would do. I think that would be a good story. I think that would be actually a great movie. Now let's go to DC. So now we're going to do DC. So DC Comics movies. So what would I do? Now, first off, I've liked James Gunn stuff so far. I mean, Creature Commandos has been fun. So there was something in Creature Commandos that I saw that I was like, you know what? That'd be the first movie I'd do. What's the first movie I'd do? Sergeant Rock and Easy Company. Oh, man. Okay, so Sergeant Rock and Easy Company. What would I base it on? European theater battle against the Germans, Nazis. So we know Easy Company is one company, Sergeant Rock, and they got one tank. One Sherman tank beat all to hell. because they've been fighting for a long time. Okay. So what is going to happen? Well, right off the bat, they're in Italy. They're starting to move up into Italy. This whole thing. No, let's scratch that. Let's not do it in Italy. Let's move this in France, going into Germany area like that. We're starting out a big fight. So Easy Company comes in. They're fighting hard. The Germans have taken over a town in the area, and they've got to go take it back because it's pushing ahead. So of course, Sergeant Rock and everybody like that gets going. They're doing fighting. They're doing everything in the kitchen sink, and they end up taking this town. Well, the tank breaks down. Now they got to stay here and fix the tank. As they're doing it, they slowly start getting surrounded. They're fighting. I mean, this is all hell break loose fighting. While they're fighting, they find some citizens. It's a mother and her two children, boy and a girl. You find out that they're Jews. They're hiding from the Germans because they tell them what's going on, that the Germans are taking Jews off someplace, and they don't know what's going on, but they're being taken away. Her husband was taken away while they hid, so they don't know where he's at. Okay, so this is troubling. What's going on? Well, as the Germans start falling back, they discover a mass grave. Mass grave, you got it. All the men of the village were taken out there and shot. They're all dead. Well, this pisses off Rock. This pisses off, this is bullshit. We got to go take these guys. We got to make them pay. And so they wait for more troops come in to hand off the women and children. So they're getting pictures of it to tell war crimes. Easy Company takes off, and once again they get ahead of everybody. Now they're in a very small town. They're pinned down. Panther tanks are moving in. Their tank is holding up, but it's getting pounded, and they've got to fall back. Well, as they fall back, their tank's tracks get blown out. So they're falling back. They're continuing falling back. Well, the lieutenant, now remember, Fury is a sergeant. The lieutenant is the one that's in charge, but he lets Rock, because he's got so much more experience and everything, really lead it. Decides that tells Rock to get the guys out of here. He's going to do something to keep them busy. And Rock doesn't understand what he's going to do. All of a sudden, this lieutenant jumps upon the tank, grabs the 50mm machine gun, and just starts being a badass while everybody's pulling back. And I mean, he is being a badass. This tank gets utterly blown out from underneath him. He gets hit 3 times, 4 times. And in the end, it's this one guy versus 240 German soldiers, and he wins. And Rock and his guys are doing fallback cover while they leave Murphy. And when they do the fallback cover, they find 2 Panthers coming in. So they set up, and they use an old trick to take the Panther tanks. And they end up taking 1 Panther tank. Well, of course, they're going to paint USA on it and stuff like that. And they come back with that Panther tank, and they start blowing up everything and fighting everything. And they get back just in time to save this guy named Murphy, who's a lieutenant. And so the fighting and everything, this whole thing would be one hell of a story. I am basing this on a true story. There was a guy named Murphy, Audie Murphy, who in World War II did get on a burning tank, did get hit 4 times, and did won against 240 Germans and won. He won the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's why I'm basing this on this guy. And it's a good story. It needs to be told of bravery and how one person can make a difference. But I thought for DC, this would be one hell of a movie, kind of like how you would do Saving Private Ryan, but use Sergeant Rock and Easy Company as the main group. And I think that would be a fantastic start. Now, since Superman's already being done and completed, I'm not going to go into a Superman story because I want to see what James Gunn does. But after Superman, I would have done Wildcats from Wildstorm. That's what I'd have done. Followed that story up. That'd be really good. Of course, Green Lantern Corps. Of course, Batman. Of course, um, other stuff that he's got planned, and go from there. I mean, we saw in Creature Commandos, we saw Easy Company, we saw Sergeant Rock, so they're already there. We can just pull them out and use them. But that's what I would do to start off with DC. Is I would set it in the 40s, do Sergeant Rock in Easy Company, do a good war movie. That movie, that's sure bet way to get people in theaters because people would flock to see that. I mean, you look at Saving Private Ryan, how well it did money and stuff like that. You do something like that with Easy Company, I don't think it would cost nearly what you guys are spending on Superman and the other movies to make, and I think it would be a blockbuster. So see, I can be fun. I don't have to sit here and yell about Marvel, DC, or anybody. I can give ideas. I can give, and I'm just thinking this off the top of my head. I don't even have a sheet of paper. I don't have anything in front of me. I'm just thinking this off the top of my head. That's how I do my stories. When I get an idea to write a horror novel like the Steins, or I might, like in my new book, The Dark Goddess, and The Dark Empress, Goddess, yeah. That was the original thing, but it's The Dark Empress. Anytime I come up with things, I start putting stuff down on paper. But in this case, I just come up with the top of my head, especially with Star Wars. I know Star Wars very well. I've been playing the role play game since the 80s. I know DC Comics. I've got DC Comics going all the way back to the 1950s. So there are two things I really love. Same thing with Marvel. I love Marvel, especially the X-Men. I don't know why they're not doing the X-Men. I don't understand why they're not doing the X-Men. Marvel should be fast tracking. Let's get the X-Men going. Let's get ready to send it out because they can start production of the X-Men now and get it out in 2026 because the contracts end this year with the old cast, so they can actually do X-Men. I mean, we saw how popular Wolverine and Deadpool was. Why not do X-Men? Why can't we do X-Men? Why can't we say in that world? I mean, he's already been to the X-Mansion. We've already seen the X-Men there. Why can't we do the X-Men? I mean, that's another thing, Marvel. Why can't you do X-Men? It'd be great. So, like I said, this is the first of the year. Let's see where all this goes. Let's see what Marvel does. Let's see what DC does. Let's see what Star Wars does. Those are my inputs. If you guys liked what I said, leave a like and, subscribe. Because I talk stuff. I don't always talk business on here. I'll do a video like this every once in a while. I'll do a review of like I did Godzilla -1. I'm not going. I should do one about Demeter and how bad they screwed that movie up, but that's just another one of those movies I kind of ignore because it was so bad. But if you like this and you like what I did, again, drop a comment. I'll reply to it. If you think I need to do another one and tell more Star Wars stories off the top of my head, I'll be happy to do so. Because on this one, who knows? You may see him at Deathmere with the Night Sisters and the Wrinkle Riders. Now, that would be cool to see on film. The charge of the Wrinkle Riders. Think of a cavalry charge of force-using witches riding Rancors coming across over a hill on top of Imperial soldiers. That would be something to see on the big screen, wouldn't it? And the Night Sisters and the Witches of Deathmere are the oldest force-using group in Star Wars outside of Luke, Obi-Wan, Vader, and the Emperor. They've been around since the mid-'80s, and they still haven't been used except one time in Clone Wars. There's a lot of stuff in Star Wars that hasn't been touched yet, and I don't think Kathleen Kennedy or them would even want to talk about it. But when it comes to the dark side, when it comes to the Sith, when it comes to things, well, I got a pretty good knowledge of it. I'd be happy to, fix their mess. So my name is James D. Lee. I'm a Warner Brothers Discovery investor. I'm a horror author, dark fantasy author, and I love sci-fi, and I love dragons, and I love comic books and professional wrestling. So I will talk to you guys later, and have a good one. Bye.